There's a new complaint claiming people are being misled into signing a petition that could end racing at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Former Councilmember Zach Young filed the complaint last week with 2 Metro agencies. He claims people are gathering signatures and they're telling voters the petition is about building more affordable housing, but they aren't explaining that it would also remove racing from the Fairgrounds Speedway. And we know the future of the Speedway has been the subject of a long-running debate, with some people pushing to redevelop the property for housing and others wanting it to stay as a racetrack.